Have you ever noticed how after spending just a few hours in a crowded place, you feel completely drained? Not just tired, but emptied, like something essential has been pulled out of you. Most people think it's just physical exhaustion. They're wrong. What's actually happening is far more disturbing. Your soul energy, the very essence of who you are, is being contaminated, hijacked, and drained by the collective unconscious field of everyone around you. And the worst part? You've been conditioned to think this is normal. Today, I'm going to show you the energetic truth they don't want you to know. How most people are literally draining your soul. Why empaths and sensitive souls are under constant attack. And most importantly, the exact 5-layer protection system that will shield your frequency permanently. This isn't theory. This is soul-level science backed by consciousness research from Princeton University, HeartMath Institute, and decades of Jungian psychology. By the end of this video, you'll understand why you can't be around most people, and you'll never feel guilty about it again. But first, we need to understand something critical that most spiritual teachers get completely wrong. They talk about energy vampires and protecting your energy, but they're missing the deeper layer. This isn't just about your energy, it's about your soul. Your soul is the organizing principle of your consciousness. It's the part of you that exists beyond your physical body, beyond your thoughts, beyond your emotions. It operates at a frequency level that most people never access. And here's what the research shows. When you're around other people, especially in crowds, your soul frequency doesn't just interact with theirs. It synchronizes. It entrains. It gets pulled down to match the collective field. Dr. Judith Orloff, author of the Empath Survival Guide, explains it perfectly. Empaths have souls that are wide open to feeling what others are experiencing. But here's what she doesn't tell you. It's not just empaths. Everyone's soul is vulnerable to this contamination. Empaths just feel it more intensely because their soul boundaries are naturally more permeable. The Global Consciousness Project at Princeton University has been measuring this phenomenon for over 20 years. They've documented how collective human consciousness creates measurable electromagnetic fields that affect everyone within range. When you walk into a room full of people operating at lower frequencies, fear, anxiety, resentment, victimhood, your soul field immediately begins to resonate with that collective frequency. And unless you know how to protect yourself, you will be pulled down. Soul energy vs. physical energy. So let's start with the fundamental distinction that changes everything. The difference between energy drain and soul drain. Most people use these terms interchangeably. They're not the same thing, and understanding this difference is the key to protecting yourself. Energy drain is what happens at the physical and emotional level. You have a difficult conversation, you feel tired. You spend time with a negative person, you feel depleted. You go to a loud party, you need to recover. This is real. This is measurable. Your nervous system gets activated, your cortisol rises, your body uses resources to process the experience. But you can recover from energy drain relatively quickly. A good night's sleep, some alone time, maybe a walk in nature, and you're back to baseline. Soul drain is completely different. Soul drain happens at the consciousness level. It's when your fundamental frequency, the vibrational signature of who you are at your core, gets disrupted, contaminated, or hijacked by external consciousness fields. And here's the critical part. You can't recover from soul drain with physical rest. Research from the HeartMath Institute shows that the human heart generates an electromagnetic field that extends up to 15 feet beyond the body. This field carries information about your emotional and consciousness state. When you're in close proximity to other people, these fields interact. They exchange information. They influence each other. But it goes deeper than that. Dr. Gary Schwartz, director of the Laboratory for Advances in Consciousness and Health at the University of Arizona, has spent decades researching consciousness beyond the physical body. He defines the soul as the organizing principle of consciousness that transcends the physical body. What this means in practical terms: your soul operates at a specific frequency. Think of it like a radio station. When you're aligned with your authentic self, living in integrity, connected to your purpose, you're broadcasting at your natural frequency. But when you're around people operating at lower frequencies, one of three things happens. 1. Your frequency gets pulled down to match theirs. This is entrainment. Your consciousness literally synchronizes with the collective field around you. 2. Your frequency gets disrupted. You start broadcasting static. You lose clarity, purpose, direction. You feel confused, scattered, disconnected from yourself. 3. Your frequency gets hijacked. This is the most dangerous. Someone else's consciousness field literally overrides yours. You start thinking their thoughts, feeling their emotions, adopting their beliefs, and you don't even realize it's happening. Studies on emotional contagion published in Frontiers in Psychology confirm this. Humans unconsciously mimic and synchronize with the emotional and consciousness states of people around them. But here's what the research doesn't tell you. This synchronization happens at the soul level, not just the emotional level. When your soul frequency is compromised, you experience loss of clarity about who you are and what you want, difficulty accessing your intuition and inner guidance, feeling like you're living someone else's life, chronic disconnection from your purpose and passion, a sense that something essential is missing even when your life looks good on paper. This is soul drain, and it's happening to you every single day you spend around people who are not operating at your frequency. Collective unconscious contamination. Now, this brings us to one of the most disturbing mechanisms of soul contamination, the collective unconscious field. Carl Jung discovered this over a century ago, but most people still don't understand what it actually means for your daily life. Jung described the collective unconscious as made up of archetypes, which are universal symbols and images that derive from the collective experience of humankind. But here's what Jung didn't fully articulate. The collective unconscious isn't just a psychological concept. It's an actual energetic field that you're swimming in every moment of every day. Think of it like the ocean. You're a fish. The water around you is the collective consciousness of humanity. And just like water, this field carries everything that's been dissolved into it. Fear, trauma, limiting beliefs, victim consciousness, scarcity mindset, resentment, rage, despair. All of it is in the field. And when you're around other people, especially in crowds, you're not just interacting with their individual consciousness. You're interacting with the entire collective field that they're carrying. Here's exactly how the contamination process works. Stage 1. Field contact. The moment you enter a space with other people, your soul's electromagnetic field makes contact with theirs. This happens automatically. You can't prevent it. Stage 2. Resonance scanning. Your consciousness automatically scans the collective field for familiar frequencies. This is your nervous system trying to assess safety and belonging. Stage 3. Frequency matching. If the collective field is operating at a lower frequency than yours, your consciousness faces a choice. Maintain your frequency and feel separate, or lower your frequency and feel connected. Most people unconsciously choose connection because humans are wired for belonging. So your soul frequency automatically drops to match the collective. Stage 4. Contamination integration. Once your frequency matches the collective, you begin absorbing the contents of that field. The fears, beliefs, and consciousness patterns of everyone around you start infiltrating your own consciousness. Stage 5. Identity confusion. After prolonged exposure, you can no longer distinguish between your authentic thoughts and the thoughts you've absorbed from the collective. You start believing that the collective's limitations are your limitations. The Global Consciousness Project has documented this phenomenon on a massive scale. During major world events, 9/11, natural disasters, global celebrations, their random number generators show statistically significant deviations from randomness. What this proves: collective human consciousness creates measurable effects in physical reality. And if collective consciousness can affect random number generators, imagine what it's doing to your soul. This is why you feel drained after family gatherings, why you feel anxious in shopping malls, why you feel depressed after scrolling social media, why you feel exhausted after work meetings. You're not weak, you're not broken, you're not too sensitive. You're being contaminated by collective consciousness fields that are operating at frequencies far below your natural state. Empath soul vulnerability. And if you're an empath or highly sensitive person, everything I just described is happening to you at 10 times the intensity. Here's why. Dr. Elaine Aron, the psychologist who pioneered research on highly sensitive people, discovered that approximately 15 to 20% of the population has a nervous system that processes sensory and emotional information much more deeply than others. She explains, highly sensitive people process sensory data much more deeply and thoroughly due to a biological difference in their nervous systems. But it's not just your nervous system, it's your soul architecture. Empaths and highly sensitive people have what I call permeable soul boundaries. While most people have relatively thick energetic boundaries that filter out some of the collective consciousness contamination, empaths have boundaries that are naturally thin, porous, and highly receptive. This isn't a weakness, it's actually a gift. Permeable soul boundaries allow you to access deeper levels of intuition and spiritual insight, feel profound connection with nature, animals, and other conscious beings, sense truth and deception with remarkable accuracy, create art, music, and healing that touches people at the soul level, serve as a bridge between ordinary consciousness and higher consciousness. The problem is, in a world where most people are operating at lower frequencies, your gift becomes your greatest vulnerability. Research on sensory processing sensitivity shows that highly sensitive people have increased activation in brain regions associated with empathy, awareness, and processing of subtle stimuli. What this means, you're not imagining it. Your brain is literally wired to absorb more information from your environment, including consciousness-level information that most people don't even register. So when you walk into a room full of people, here's what's happening. While a non-empath might absorb 20 to 30% of the collective field's frequency, you're absorbing 70 to 90%. While a non-empath might take hours to feel the effects of soul contamination, you feel it within minutes. While a non-empath might recover from collective field exposure in a day or two, you might need a week or more to fully restore your frequency. This is why empaths often feel like they don't belong in this world. Why you need so much alone time. Why you can't handle what other people seem to handle easily. You're not broken. Your soul is operating at a higher frequency, with more sensitivity, in a world that's vibrating at a much lower level. And until you learn to strengthen your soul boundaries while maintaining your sensitivity, you will continue to be drained by most people. Soul frequency hijacking. Which brings us to the most insidious mechanism of all, soul frequency hijacking. This is different from contamination. Contamination is passive absorption. Hijacking is active override. And it's happening to you more often than you realize. Dr. Daniel Siegel, clinical professor of psychiatry at UCLA, has spent decades researching interpersonal neurobiology. He discovered that when we attune to others, we allow our internal state to shift, to come to resonate with the inner world of another. This attunement process is mediated by mirror neurons, specialized brain cells that fire both when you perform an action and when you observe someone else performing that action. Mirror neurons are why you yawn when someone else yawns, why you feel sad when you see someone crying, why you unconsciously mimic the body language of people you're talking to. But mirror neurons don't just operate at the physical and emotional level. They operate at the consciousness level. Here's the exact hijacking sequence. Phase 1. Resonance lock. Someone with a strong dominant consciousness field enters your space. Your mirror neurons immediately begin scanning their frequency. Phase 2. Synchronization. If their field is stronger than yours, either because they're more confident, more certain, or more energetically dominant, your consciousness begins to synchronize with theirs. Phase 3. Override. Your own thoughts, feelings, and perceptions get temporarily suppressed. You start experiencing reality through their consciousness filter. Phase 4. Adoption. If the exposure continues, you begin to adopt their beliefs, values, and behavioral patterns as your own. You literally forget who you were before the hijacking occurred. This is why you leave certain conversations feeling confused about what you actually think, why you agree to things you don't really want to do, why you find yourself acting in ways that don't align with your values. Your frequency was hijacked. Research on brainwave synchronization shows that when people interact, their brainwaves literally begin to align. The person with the more coherent, dominant brainwave pattern pulls the other person into their rhythm. And here's the disturbing part. Most people who hijack your frequency aren't doing it consciously. They're not evil. They're not trying to manipulate you. They're just operating from a strong, unconscious consciousness pattern that naturally overrides weaker patterns. This is why you need to protect your soul frequency, not because people are bad, but because most people are unconscious, and unconscious consciousness is contagious. Soul Shield Protocol. So how do you protect yourself? This is where everything changes, because I'm not going to give you some vague advice about setting boundaries or visualizing white light. I'm going to give you the exact 5-layer soul shield protocol that will protect your frequency permanently. This protocol is based on research from the HeartMath Institute on heart-brain coherence, decades of mindfulness research, and ancient spiritual practices that have been validated by modern consciousness science. Here's how it works. Layer 1. Energetic boundary creation. 2 minutes, immediate protection. Before you enter any space with other people, you're going to create a conscious energetic boundary. Not a wall, a filter. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. On the exhale, imagine a sphere of light forming around your body, extending about 3 feet in all directions. This sphere is semi-permeable. It allows love, truth, and high-frequency energy to pass through. It blocks fear, manipulation, and low-frequency contamination. Set the intention. I am protected. My frequency is sovereign. I choose what enters my consciousness. This takes 2 minutes, and it creates an immediate buffer between your soul and the collective field. Layer 2. Frequency. Lock installation. 5 minutes. Maintains your vibration. Before the boundary, you need to lock in your authentic frequency. Otherwise, you're just protecting emptiness. Sit quietly. Place your hand on your heart. Ask yourself, what is my truth right now? What do I actually feel, think, and want? Don't filter. Don't perform. Just notice what's actually true for you in this moment. Then, amplify that truth. Breathe into it. Feel it in your body. Let it become the dominant frequency in your consciousness. This is your frequency lock. You've just anchored your consciousness to your authentic self. Now, when you encounter other frequencies, you have a reference point to return to. Layer 3. Psychic immunity activation. 8 minutes, advanced consciousness defense. This layer is about training your consciousness to automatically reject frequencies that don't serve you. Think of it like your immune system. Your body doesn't consciously decide to fight off a virus. It just does it automatically. Your consciousness can do the same thing. Practice this. Recall a recent time when you felt your frequency being pulled down. Replay the memory. But this time, imagine your consciousness immediately recognizing the incompatible frequency and rejecting it. See yourself staying centered, clear, and sovereign while the other person's energy bounces off your field. Do this with 5 different memories. You're training your consciousness to automatically maintain your frequency under pressure. Layer 4. Soul Sovereignty Declaration. 3 minutes. Permanent Protection Programming. This is where you make a formal declaration to your own consciousness and to the collective field. Say this out loud with full conviction. I am a sovereign being. My consciousness belongs to me. My frequency is mine to choose. I do not absorb the fears, beliefs, or limitations of others. I do not allow my soul to be contaminated, hijacked, or drained. I maintain my frequency regardless of external conditions. This is my declaration. This is my truth. This is my reality. When you speak this with genuine intention, you're programming your consciousness at the deepest level. You're creating a new default setting. Layer 5. Higher Self-Connection. 7 minutes. Divine Protection Alignment. The final layer connects your individual consciousness to your higher self, the part of you that exists beyond the collective field, beyond contamination, beyond hijacking. Sit in meditation. Imagine a golden thread extending from the top of your head up into infinite space. Follow that thread until you feel a presence, vast, wise, completely at peace. This is your higher self, the part of you that has never been contaminated. Ask for protection. Ask for guidance. Ask for the strength to maintain your frequency in all situations. Then imagine that golden thread becoming a permanent connection, a lifeline that you can access anytime you feel your frequency slipping. These 5 layers work together. The boundary protects you. The frequency lock anchors you. The psychic immunity defends you. The sovereignty declaration programs you. The higher self-connection elevates you. Do this protocol once a day for 14 days. After that, the protection becomes automatic. Your consciousness will maintain these layers without conscious effort. This is permanent soul protection, soul recovery and restoration. But what if you're already contaminated? What if your frequency has been compromised for months or even years? You can recover completely. Here's your 14-day soul frequency restoration program. Days 1 to 3. Isolation and purification. Minimize all contact with other people. This isn't about being antisocial. It's about giving your soul space to remember its natural frequency without constant interference. Spend time in nature. Water is especially powerful for clearing contaminated frequencies. Ocean, river, rain, immerse yourself. Practice silence. No music, no podcasts, no TV. Just silence. Let your consciousness settle. Days 4 to 7. Frequency recalibration. Now you're going to actively recalibrate your frequency. Use the 5-layer Soul Shield protocol every morning. Journal every evening. What thoughts did I think today that weren't actually mine? What feelings did I feel that belonged to someone else? What beliefs am I carrying that I never consciously chose? Write them down. Then consciously release them. Say out loud, "This is not mine. I release it back to the collective field." Days 8 to 11, sovereignty integration. You're going to start testing your restored frequency in low-risk social situations. Coffee with one trusted friend. A walk with a family member who respects your energy. Pay attention. Can you maintain your frequency, or do you feel it slipping? If it slips, don't judge yourself. Just notice. Return to your frequency lock. Reactivate your boundary. Days 12 to 14. Permanent anchoring. Final phase. You're going to anchor your restored frequency so deeply that it becomes your new default. Create a daily practice that connects you to your authentic frequency. Meditation, creative expression, movement, prayer, whatever makes you feel most like yourself. This practice is non-negotiable. It's your frequency maintenance system. After 14 days, you will feel like a different person, because you will be operating from your true frequency, not the contaminated frequency you've been carrying. Your clarity will return. Your intuition will sharpen. Your purpose will become obvious. Your energy will be yours again. So let me leave you with this. You are not meant to be around most people. Not because you're better than them, but because you're operating at a different frequency. And that's okay. The world will tell you that something is wrong with you, that you need to be more social, more tolerant, more accommodating. The world is wrong. Your soul knows what it needs. It needs space. It needs silence. It needs protection from frequencies that don't match yours. And when you honor that need, everything changes. You stop feeling guilty for needing alone time. You stop forcing yourself into situations that drain you. You stop pretending to be okay with people and places that contaminate your frequency. You become sovereign. So here's what I want you to do right now. Start the 14-day Soul Frequency Restoration Challenge. Use the 5-layer Soul Shield protocol. Protect your frequency like your life depends on it. Because it does. And if you want support on this journey, I've created a private sanctuary community for high-frequency souls who are done being drained by the collective. It's a space where you can be yourself without contamination, where you can restore your frequency without judgment, where you can connect with others who understand what it's like to operate at a higher level in a lower frequency world. The link is in the description. Your soul is not meant to be contaminated. Your frequency is not meant to be hijacked. Your energy is not meant to be drained. You are meant to be sovereign. Protect your soul, maintain your frequency, and never apologize for being who you are. I'll see you in the next one.